Hey folks, what I want to talk about today is something that
confuses the crap out of me because I don't know about anyone else. Well, what is going on with your video feed? You look like you're being broadcast from an underground layer to make demands of the Batman. Also, you'll not hear this, but oh my god, the high-pitched whine. There was this screeching noise, and I killed it for you. You're all welcome. Now if we could only do something about the annoying noise coming out of his face. But tis.
each of us have to contend with. One is either we will let the Bible speak to us, or we will speak to the Bible.
I don't know, man. I don't really tend to talk to inanimate objects. And when they start talking to me, that just means I've had too much whiskey, or not enough whiskey, or the right amount of whiskey. It's kind of screwy like that.
God has no interest whatsoever, at all, in ever
getting to the fucking point, apparently. Also humans. I mean, it stands to reason. If there is a universe creator, the fact that the Earth exists in the middle of nowhere, spinning around an unexceptional star, every day getting further and further away from any chance of getting anywhere else in the universe, well, it makes me think that he probably doesn't give much of a shit about them. And too right, they're the worst.
Conforming to us. In fact, the Apostle Paul says it's just the opposite of what the Christian has said. God, we're being conformed to the image of Christ.
Well, if Apostle Paul says something, it must be true. I mean, it's not like God is just a construct of the human imagination that has somehow locked into the collective consciousness, and now dumbasses blather on and on about how we should behave based on a thing that was literally made up, because that would make humans fucking idiots. Wait.
Christ is God. So,
are you making this video with the goddamn cold? Could you not have saved this for when I didn't have to hear the snorts and groans between everything you say? I mean, for all the times to talk about being made in the image of what is ostensibly a perfect being of goodness, when all the demons are trying to escape from your face, or whatever idiots think illness is these days, is an interesting choice to say the least.
God has no desire, and he won't. And it's a very good thing, actually, that God won't.
God won't conform to humans. It's just that he had the opinions of the humans at the time he was invented, which is why we now view the things done in the Bible as generally deeply fucked up, or those who wish to carry on swinging around the book will attempt to justify those shit opinions, usually by twisting them around until they resemble something slightly less ridiculously evil.
Won't conform to us. He calls us to submit to and conform to the image of Christ.
Alright, and follow me here. If that's 100% definitely what he wants to him, why are there so many different interpretations of what God is like and what he wants and all that jazz? You see, when I want the humans to all follow my instructions, I make very sure that I am clear and concise, and make sure that there is no possible way they could misconstrue or misunderstand my exact desires. Just like when I tell them not to touch the...
Who again is God. So, when I hear people say I don't believe in God because of lack of evidence, what I really hear is,
I hate God. I really hate God, and how real he is, and how I believe in him so fucking much. Oh, I hate him. That's why I don't believe in him. As with all things I hate, I literally just pretend that they don't exist. And not just by flat out ignoring them, but I go out of my way when asked my opinions on that thing to say, I've never heard of humans. Is that some kind of cheese? Sounds gross. Can't be real.
God isn't the person I'd want it to be.
Are you actually? And I'm going to try and say this with as much kindness and compassion as I can muster. A giant fucking idiot-shaped moron. When someone tells you that they don't believe in God because, and I'm going to change it slightly here to be more accurate to what people mean, but good evidence for him that cannot be explained by other means. If that is lacking, which it absolutely is, you decide what they actually mean is that they don't like your version of God. Where to fucking start with that shit? I mean, more than anything, if I believed in their being some sort of God existing, but I didn't like the one you presented for whatever reason, that wouldn't make me stop thinking that gods existed. I would just look for a different one that made more sense to me. I mean, there's enough of them going about, for fuck's sake. The idea that I would just pretend that there's no God while I still believe in him, that continues to be something that religious boys constantly do, and I find it so freaking baffling that anyone could be convinced by anything that stupid.
In other words, I want to make a God in my own image, rather than accepting the fact that I'm made in God's image and conform to Him and conform to His standards.
No, you see, matey-o, buddy-o, pally-o mine, what you have missed is that I have no interest in anything of God, to your or anyone's definition or standards or anything. I don't think that supernatural beings, especially the all-powerful universe creator types, exist. I think that they're not a real thing. I think that people made them up many, many moons ago, and they just like their made-up toy a lot, and they want everyone else to play with it. But I don't want to, because I like toys with actual substance and weight that can actually do things, preferably in the genre of Megazord.
As laid out for us very clearly in the pages of Scripture.
Or I can say, this book looks suspiciously like it was written by morons from the stupid ages and has no reflection of our contemporary age and fails to demonstrate anything about reality that wasn't already known at the time. And when it tries, it fucks it up spectacularly. Maybe this thing isn't written or inspired or whatever by God and is in fact a bunch of nonsense. Perhaps I should not attempt to replicate that nonsense of the nonsense book in my everyday life. Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, I don't want to go with this.
Another reason you should not be making videos, especially ones with bold claims like why atheists continue to suck at logic, since your brain is so obviously completely fried. But you did. And you didn't take it down after you realised what an embarrassment you've made of yourself. And you know you did, because nothing screams, I can't defend the dumb shit I said, like a closed comment section. So I guess you agree with your NyQuil-addled self, so cool. Personally, when I'm sick, I have scripted everything anyway, and will edit in a few days later, so I am always at least somewhat coherent. But you know, you do you, man.
I think the thing that stops most people is the fact that they're not honest with themselves.
It's not that I find the claims of your lot to be ludicrous nonsense, or it's not that, again, I find religious texts to be obvious creations of people who had no fucking idea how the world works. It's that I am, in fact, lying to myself about those clear and obvious and frankly perfectly goddamn reasonable reasons for not believing in any of the gods that have been presented to me thus far. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that's the opposite of how that works, mate.
And again, in Evangelist Ray Comfort.
I don't know what you said there. I was too focused on you bringing up fucking Ray Comfort of all people. You know, I was working on this series I'd been doing for a while, and then the video went so far off the goddamn rails that I wasn't able, to my satisfaction anyway, continue the rest of the series without having a video that just went, yeah, get your fucking point for 15 minutes solid, so I stopped. But I do really need to get back on the old Ray horse again, because that man is an unstoppable machine of extremely bad arguments and bad faith representations of anyone and everything he disagrees with. Anyway, if you like him, that explains so much as to why you are so freaking bad at this. And even clearly poorly out of your mind as you still sound, you're less idiotic than he is. Although that's not saying much.
Has made a lot of videos about this very thing.
Yes, he has, and my god, they are terrible, and not in the good way. Also, you know the man isn't exactly respected by atheists, right? So to bring him up when you attempt to berate atheists for our lack of logic, when I don't think that man would know a logic if it came up to him and punched him in the stupid. And to be fair, his stupid is so vast, even the most logical of logics wouldn't even be able to penetrate all the dense idiocy of it.
If you ask most people, are you a good person?
Oh god, no, the good person bit. It's so fucking dumb. Dude, come on. He goes, well, have you done any of these things that are bad in my Bible, including really fucking dumb ones like disliking someone equals murder, which again, opposite of how anything works. And then he goes, well, God, I'm mad and you should say sorry, and then you get to hang out with me and my bad arguments in heaven forever. And like, not only does that not make no sense, the reward is deeply unappealing. Like, maybe if you were to get me a dinosaur or a race car or a dinosaur driving a race car, I might want to do what you say, but ending up on the same infinity bus as you? No thanks, mate.
More than likely, they will say yes.
I mean, if random people come up to you, what the f do you expect from them? Nah man, I was just stomping this homeless guy's puppy to death while pooping on his tent and vaping, and then I thought about my wife's sister's tits, so obviously that last one is what makes me a bad person. No one's going around to strangers and talking about how much of a piece of shit they are, except for street preachers, although not explicitly, it's just, you know, you're a street preacher. It's very clear that you don't make good life choices.
Yes, most people, do you think you're a good person? They will say yes. And then Ray will go through this litany of questions like, have you ever stolen? Irrespective of it's, oh, you ever stolen something? Yes. Have you ever lied? Yes. Have you ever looked at a person with lust? Yes.
I would bet that there are people, probably a lot of them, that say no to one or more of these questions. In fact, I have seen Ray twist himself in circles to get them to say they have stolen. Like, have you ever taken something without express, written, notarized permission, as if getting a fucking snack from the fridge is the same as, you know, what anyone on the planet actually means when they talk about theft. So yeah, Ray dishonesting people into saying yes to all these questions, that still doesn't mean that his God gets to real.
Okay, so by God standards, you're a lying, stealing, adulteress at heart.
Okay, but those aren't God standards, they're Ray's standards. And again, about the twisting shit, the adulterous thing. I would imagine the vast majority of people just don't really cheat on each other. But with Ray's bullshit definitions, TM, he makes talking about your buddy's wife's great big voluptuous homemade cookies and thinking, I wish I had cookie wife. It's basically the same as fucking her on his desk while he and their children and their grandma and their sweet baby Jesus look on in confused horror. I mean, what is the bucket of marshmallows even for? And oh, gross.
And you think you're good when you're not, and so you're self-righteous.
That's not what self-righteous means. Having or characterized by a certainty, especially an unfounded one, that one is totally correct or morally superior. Thinking one is a good person does not mean that they think they are better than everyone, you fucking doof. Having my book, though, written by my idiots and using my lies to trick people into saying things I need them to make my shit point, and then calling them bad people, is the fucking definition of self-righteous. You have come to the opposite conclusion of what the thing you have just said means. Well done. You now sound more stupid than Ray. You did it. Grats.
And then after people have confessed to doing these things and thinking these things.
Yes, thinking about a thing being the exact same as actually doing it. Clearly not the stupidest thing in the fucking universe. I mean, that's why we have Thought Crime Police Squad. Of all the silly shit you could possibly say, to compare action to thought as if they are exactly equal. As if tearing people to shreds and sticking them in a blender is the same as thinking it. I mean, do you know how much work is involved in setting up this thing? Took a lot more than fucking thoughts and prayers, to tell you that much. And okay, some of you will know that that is a joke I've used a number of times. What can I tell you? It's one of my favourite little animations that I ever made. But in all seriousness, if you think that this and actual monster kills are the exact same act, you're dumber than a particularly stupid rock.
He'll ask them if they still think that they're a good person, and most of them will still say yes.
Yeah, because they don't fucking agree with your standard, dumbass. I love the fact that you somehow think that that's a ridiculous thing to do, with your stupid little laugh there. But if I were to walk up to you and ask if you were a good person, and then I asked, do you use the toilet? And you said yes, and I say, aha! By my standards, only shitting in the gardens of strangers is the right way to defecate. Do you still think you're a good person now? You're gonna tell the public defecation supporting lunatic to fuck off, and rightly so. We all know the only moral pooping ground is the cistern of Ray Comfort's bathroom. That way the smell won't go away for months.
Even after just conceding that they've lied, because what they'll say is, well, who hasn't?
Holy shit, did your sniffle just interrupt you to the point where you didn't even remember what you were saying? That's hilarious. And yeah, lying, cheating, stealing, likely singular acts, especially when, as is usually the case in Ray's tricksy bullshit, done as a child or even not done at all, but does not and should not damn someone forever, especially not when compared against a life where they would likely, at least by their own standards, have mostly been neutral or in fact kind and giving, etc. And ultimately, this wasn't a question of have you been a perfect, faultless being who never made any mistakes ever. It's, are you good? You wouldn't think that a mass murderer is good because they once gave a couple of bucks to charity. And yeah, the opposite is also true. A generally good person doesn't become fucking evil because they once got a boner thinking about pop star du jour. Because that's fucking asinine. And if you don't understand why, you are far too dumb to be calling anyone's logic anything other than way better than yours.
So they'll think they're good because they're like everyone else. But who's the standard of goodness?
Me, and that's why they all fail. I can't help it that I'm so much better than everyone else, and I'm freaking awful. That's why they are the worst. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them with an iron fist. Oh wait, no, this is a leather glove. Shit, where did I put my iron fist? Ah, there it is. Do as you're told.
Everyone else or God? God is the standard of what is good.
No, he isn't. Humans are because they fucking invented the concept. And they invented God too. Which is why he has the opinions he does. And not some magic beyond space and time opinions that a literal fucking God should have. Instead of just saying shit that basic bitch humans could have come up with on an average Tuesday piss-up. Only worse, because at least those opinions would mostly be about pizza instead of randomly genociding everyone because you're a bit mad. Atheist Logic 1. Poorly Ray Comfort Theist Logic, -20.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the